16, 17, 19, 22. You are inside the years right now that you will spend the rest of your life either building on or recovering from. Not because these years are more important than the ones that follow. Because these years have no floor, no consequence that lands immediately enough to correct the direction, no version of the bill that arrives while you can still easily adjust the behavior that created it. The bill arrives at 26, at 29, at 32, quietly without announcement, in the specific form of a gap between where you are and where the version of yourself who used these years would already be. Not a catastrophe, a distance, a quiet, structural distance that looks from the outside like normal variation in human outcomes and is, from the inside, the accumulated cost of years spent in practice mode, waiting for the real version of your life to begin. There is no practice version. There never was. T'Challa did not become king through a rehearsal of kingship. The preparation was real. The responsibility was real. The choices made in the years before the throne were real. And they produced, or failed to produce, the man who would carry what Wakanda required. The years between 16 and 25 are your preparation for everything that follows them. They are building something right now. Whether you are directing the build or not, here is what they are building, and why the direction matters more than you currently believe it does. Practice mode is not idleness. That is the specific trap. The man in practice mode is often busy. He is often working. He is often working. He is often making reasonable short-term choices, maintaining reasonable relationships, moving through reasonable days. What he is not doing is treating the choices as permanent, as choices that compound into a position from which later choices will be made. He is holding the frame that the real version of his life begins at some identifiable future point, after the degree, after the job stabilizes, after the relationship settles, after the thing that currently makes commitment feel premature has resolved itself. That future point does not arrive as a clean transition. It arrives as the gradual realization that the choices made in practice mode have become the architecture of the actual life. The habits formed without intention are now the habits running the day. The skills practiced casually are now the skills available for serious use. The physical capacity built or neglected in the years when building it was easiest is now the baseline everything is working from. Practice mode did not delay the building. It built something. It built the default version, the version produced when the build was not directed. T'Challa's preparation was directed from early enough that when the throne required a man, the man was ready. Not perfect. Ready, meaning the habits of thinking, the physical preparation, the character capacity for the decisions kingship would demand had been built through years of treating the preparation as the real thing. The preparation was the real thing. Your years between 16 and 25 are the real thing. The question is not whether they are building something. They are. The question is whether you are directing the build. Directing the build does not mean planning every hour. It means making one honest decision about the man you need to be at 25 and asking daily whether today's choices are moving toward that man or away from him. One daily honest question. That is the entire difference between directed preparation and practice mode. Not a complex system, not a demanding discipline regime. The question, asked before the day begins or at the end of it, what did today build? And is what it built in the direction of the man the next decade requires? The answer will not always be yes. It will be no more often than is comfortable to admit. The value of the question is not that it produces perfect days. It is that it makes the direction of the build visible, and a build whose direction is visible can be corrected. A build in practice mode cannot be corrected because it is not acknowledged as a build. It is treated as time passing while the real building waits. Stay with this. What I am about to describe is the specific thing that separates the man who arrives at 25 with a foundation from the man who arrives at 25 with a decade of practice mode behind him. And it is not discipline, intelligence, or exceptional circumstance. It is one decision made consistently enough to have been real. The man who arrives at 25 with a foundation made one decision somewhere between 16 and 25 that the years were real. Not in a dramatic moment of clarity, in the quiet, unglamorous recognition that the daily choices were compounding into something, and that the direction of that compounding was his to set. He did not make that decision perfectly. He did not hold it without interruption. He made it, lost it, returned to it, held it longer each time, and by 25, the compounding had run long enough to produce something real enough to build the next decade on. Chala's preparation for the throne was not a single decision made on a single day. It was the accumulated return of years of treating the preparation as the thing itself rather than as the prelude to the thing. The years between 16 and 25 are the thing itself. The man at 35 who looks back at them will either see a foundation or a gap. That outcome is being built right now, in the choices that feel too small to matter. Beat 3. What is still possible from here? If you are inside the window between 16 and 25, reading this now, the entire position is still available. Not the position that would have been available if the direction had been set 2 years ago. The position that is available from today, which is not the same as what was available then, and is also not nothing. The compounding that begins today runs from today. Every day it runs produces a return that the day before it could not. The man at 23 who sets the direction today arrives at 25 with 2 years of directed compounding behind him. That is a different foundation than 0. It is not the foundation the man who started at 19 has. It is the foundation available from today. And the foundation available from today is the only one currently on offer. If you are past the window, 26, 29, 32, reading this and feeling the gap the script described, the gap is real. The practice mode years produced the default architecture, and the default architecture produced the current position. That is true, and it is also the last true thing that looks backward. Everything from this moment forward is a directed build, or it is more practice mode. The choice is the same. The compounding window is shorter. The return on what is built is still real. You came into this expecting to feel the urgency that produces 4 days of effort before the practice mode reasserts itself. Not urgency, not a system, not a transformation programmed. One decision made tonight, held tomorrow. Return to when it slips, held longer each return, that the years you are currently inside are real, that they are building something, that you are going to direct what they build. That decision, made consistently enough to become the default frame rather than the occasional awareness, is the entire difference between the man who arrives at 25 with a foundation and the man who arrives wondering where the years went. T'Challa did not become worthy of the throne in a single decision. He became worthy through the accumulated return of years of decisions to treat the preparation as the real thing. One decision made tonight. The accumulation begins tomorrow. Tonight, one honest question. Not the comfortable version, the honest one. What is the man I need to be at 25? Not the career, not the status, not the external markers. The character, the capacity, the habits of thinking and acting and recovering and building. What does that man do daily that the current version of me does not? Name one thing, one daily practice that the man at 25 has been doing since today. Write it in one sentence, specific, timed the behavior, not the intention. Then start tomorrow. The years between 16 and 25 are not practice. They have never been practice. They are the preparation for everything that follows. And the preparation is the real thing, whether it is directed or not. Directed. Starting tomorrow. With one sentence written tonight that names the practice the man you need to be already lives inside. These years are not the rehearsal. They are the performance. The man you become in them is the man who walks into everything after them. Direct the performance. It is already running. One sentence. Tonight. One practice. Tomorrow. The years do not wait for the direction to feel urgent enough. They run. The question is only what they are building while they do. One question. What is the one daily practice, written in one sentence, present tense, that the man you need to be at 25 is already doing? Write it in the comments. Not a goal, the behavior. The compounding begins when the sentence becomes tomorrow's first action. If this named the cost of practice mode in a way nothing else has. Subscribe. The performance is already running. Direct it.